Welcome back, my brothers and sisters of this chaotic yet beautiful earth. In previous episodes, we've spoken about limerence, not as just a feeling, but as a spiritual trial that tests the heart and reshapes the soul. Today, I want to take you deeper. This is where the lessons we've earlier discussed had started to breathe in real life, way before God had taught what limerence was. These experiences are where Allah's guidance moves from theory into undeniable reality. In limerence, I share my stance on what limerence truly is. Not a fleeting feeling, but a spiritual trial that tests your heart, mind, and obedience to Allah. I speak about how Allah helps you detach from bonds that are not written for you, and how that detachment can lead to a higher state of spiritual clarity. In my chapter, "But His Pious," is one of the clearest examples of that process in motion. It tells the story of being drawn towards someone whose outward appearance, actions, or even reputation seemed righteous, yet whose presence in my life was not meant to remain. This chapter isn't just about noticing the contradiction. It's about recognizing how Allah exposes the truth when your heart is sincerely seeking Him. In this story, I was mentally unstable. My emotions were heightened, my reactions raw, and I couldn't hold the pressure inside me. I lashed out, and I cursed Him because the anger, pain, and spiritual intensity were overwhelming. I even described moments of being angry with Allah for allowing me to endure so much. Feelings I now see as part of the trial itself, when my spiritual awareness was sharp, but my emotional control was slipping. I give examples of how every feeling was magnified, how every thought felt urgent, and how I couldn't yet see the calm on the other side. Yet even in that unstable state, Allah was still there, allowing the trial to unfold so I could later learn from it, guiding me toward eventual clarity and holding me through my breaking point. Because I put my trust in Allah so strongly, He began responding to me in the present moment in ways I cannot forget, guiding me with small but undeniable signs, like receipt papers that led me to Quranic verses or reminders that directly answered my questions. It was as if Allah was saying, "Here, read this. You will understand." And I did. Not everyone can say they've received or experienced that level of immediate personal guidance in the middle of a trial. In my chapter, "But His Pious," connects with what I spoke about in limerence because it proves what I teach there. Limerence is a powerful spiritual experience that can push you to your limits. Healing isn't always quiet or graceful. Sometimes it's messy, unstable, and loud before peace comes. This chapter is the evidence of what it looks like to be inside the storm before Allah delivers you to the stillness. In limerence, I speak about how Allah helps you detach from harmful bonds and become spiritually elevated. I explain that these connections are more than just emotions. They are unseen threads that can either nourish or drain the soul. When they are misaligned, Allah, in His mercy, guides you to cut them in ways that protect your heart and restore your peace. In my chapter, "Pay Me in Distance," is the living proof of that truth. In it, I give examples from my own life of how Allah was right beside me through some of my hardest trials. When I cried over my childhood and the loneliness that followed me into adulthood. When I prayed in the middle of the night from a place of deep pain. Even when I was in a place of sin, and He answered that prayer instantly. He guided me to see the truth, to begin healing, and to release the threads that were tying me to people and moments that could only harm me. One of the most powerful examples is how Allah handled the person who had hurt me deeply. They came into my workplace more than once. Yet Allah shielded me so completely that I never saw them, never even felt their presence in the room. It was as if he placed a veil over my awareness to protect me from the disruption and pain of seeing them. The only time I ever saw them again was when Allah willed it. I was clocking out at the end of my shift, walking toward the door, and in the distance, I saw the man who broke my heart, walking away. That was the last encounter we ever had. That moment was more than coincidence. It was closure crafted by Allah Himself. It was His way of showing me that He had been protecting me all along, even in the present moment, and that when He chooses to let you see something, it will be in a way that confirms His power and mercy. In my chapter, Pay Me in Distance is not just a story about space and boundaries. It's a testimony of divine protection. It shows how Allah can not only remove harmful ties, but also shield you until you are strong enough to see the truth without breaking. It's the lived reflection of what limerence teaches, that detachment, when guided by Allah, is not loss. It is elevation, freedom, and healing.